You're welcome back. It's still Daybreak on Trust TV, and today, we are diving still in the world of Nigerian politics and, where the same old rhetoric seems to be playing on repeat. Politicians promise the moon, but do they deliver? From empty promises of prosperity to a divisive identity politics, many Nigerians are left wondering if their leaders truly have their best interests at heart. Take, for instance, the recurring themes of economic growth and job creation. Politicians often tout grandiose plans, but the reality on the ground tells a completely different story. Or consider the issue of security, where politicians promise to tackle Boko Haram year in, year out and banditry, but the violence continues unabated. So joining me today is Honorable Cletus Obun Mbia, a seasoned politician and public affairs commentator. Thank you so much for joining us, Honorable.
Thanks for having me on Trust. I hope I can trust you on this topic.
We hope we can trust your response as well. All right. With Honorable this morning, we will be discussing the issues shaping Nigerian politics, from the need of voter education to the role of identity politics in electoral outcomes. How can Nigerians demand more from their leaders? What role can civil society organizations play in promoting transparency and good governance? How can Nigerians hold the government accountable and elect the right leaders that put their interests first? Honorable, thank you so much for joining us once more.
Thanks for having me.
Since we're in the game of not trusting one another this morning, let's dive.
Clearly, we have to really look at how best we can trust each other.
Yes, talking about trust and how best we can trust each other. How best can Nigerians trust their leadership more? In our morning segment, we spoke about the political space and we asked if it's been toxic. And people raised lots of pointers, from, electoral violence to campaign across ethno-religious divides to, the judiciary and where it stands. A lot of issues were raised down to the electoral body, but it all bordered on lack of trust from politicians, the political space in general. What do you make of all of that?
Trust is not a tangible commodity that you can measure. There is no barometer for measuring trust. What you can glean is the utterances and comments, both in the public place and private places, about what people say have to say about their leaders and what they say about government. The general attitude to government within our own political climate is to first doubt.
Do you blame them for that?
You have reason to blame them, because it is also an attribute of a man who has no confidence or trust in himself. You must trust yourself before you trust the next person. Love your neighbor as yourself. So trust your neighbor as yourself. If you can't trust yourself, why will you trust anybody? So this is what it is. So it is not a character of about once a man leaves and walks to the other side and becomes a government official, the first thing to give to him is distrust, to doubt him. The reason is simple, that he has joined them. The other side is the eating side. You don't go to government to work for the people, you go to government to eat. So it is your turn to go and eat. So now that you're eating, are you talking to us? And like Penny Jackson, the great columnist in Vanguard newspapers, late though he is, described the noise and the decibels that come out of corruption. That the closer you are to corruption, the lesser the noise. The farther away you are, the louder the noise. So that also goes to say that it is more out of how involved am I. And that is what brings about the distrust. And secondly, some political actors have also given reason for this. So it's on both sides. Both the governed and the government have their roles to play in building trust. But you cannot say that it is a general, you cannot generalize, overgeneralize it. You can't question the Abia state governor today. Most of his people will not. You can't question Zulum in Borno State. People will not also say, he's also a governor. He's going there for the second term, so he's sitting down there. Yaradua came in here, everybody believed him. You had Murtala Mohammed, people believed him, even though he was a military dictator. Gowon today remains a superhero, a legend, a living legend. Each time I see Gowon, I shed tears of joy that the man whom we were standing on the road to sing about in our primary schools is still standing and reading and talking to us. Those are the kind of things. You can't say you distrust him just because it's not a general thing.
But these leaders have given reasons why they should be trusted. So what is your take on the crop of, leadership? Like you said, it's both ways, and we totally agree, it's both ways. Like the way they see the other side as the eating side, and it now creates that mindset from the electorate to want to be in the other side just to eat it. So when they get the opportunity, that is what they go for. But why do we still have that distrust? Why do we have those other crops who do not put the people first? Where did we get it wrong? Because you have mentioned past leaders who did, and people did trust them. People didn't.
And I named even current leaders.
Yes, and current leaders. So you mentioned two, but let's leave that out of it. Why do we now have those who come? Like, I'm sure you always say that there will probably be one or two bad eggs. How can we salvage that?
Now, if you stop distrusting, you stop the political space, the ingredients and indeed the elements that make up the polity is doubt. Clearly putting pressure to get more. The human mind is continuously insatiate. The needs of man are insatiable, and to that extent, demands are made to meet those needs. The appetite, the infrastructure. You have a road, it should have been dualized. You have a bridge, it should have been a double bridge, not this small one. You have a school, it is not well equipped. People are being paid, the minimum wage is not enough. You are getting a recruitment into the public service, it is tribalized because the person sitting there is from one particular tribe or one religion or the other. You are sitting in an office, my guy or my boss sitting on top of me because I'm a Muslim or because I'm a Christian, that's why I'm being treated or that's why my promotion is being delayed. All these are factors that are human. To take them away is to say you stop to be human. So it is for me not to a subject for which people should be distracted with. What you should rather do, on the contrary, as public office leader, do your own part and allow the rest for the populace to decide and to dictate. Because for every one person blaming you, there are two or three others thanking you. There are two or three others. The only thing that you must learn in human life is that always, evil is louder than the good. The way we speak about this country, you won't believe that driving from here to Makurdi, driving from here to Kanu, you can stop on the road and ask for water from somebody's house and he gives it to you to drink without slapping you, without asking where you're coming from, without asking your religion.
Hopefully you get there safely without holding your
We have gotten, people are traveling on a daily basis. Have we stopped traveling? People are traveling. In fact, my friend came from Enugu the other day. By 9 p.m., he told me he was around Lokoja. I said, why are you traveling in the night? He said, the road is safe. This was last week. But the impression being given is that you can't even move an inch, even in broad daylight, without being harassed by bandits. You won't even believe that people are living in Zamfara. That people even go to school in Zamfara. It's as if everything is shut down. Yes, we have insecurity. But the level to which we have blown it is out of proportion. Clearly out of proportion.
All right, before we touch on security now, let's talk about the economy. We've heard phrases, economic growth, job creation, a lot of phrases to go around, yet unemployment still persists. We have a vast informal sector that if properly invested into, we won't even have a problem talking about unemployment or white collar jobs. So what do you make of these? Are these just buzzwords made by politicians to gain campaigning grounds, or these are structural issues that shouldn't just be used as campaign promises but as proper policy implementation? And would this see a difference in even the security challenges we're talking about?
Now, you see, what we have here, like you said, is purely structural, systemic. A systemic unemployment, and because of the kind of education that we have in our country today, it's multifaceted. The unemployment thing is multifaceted. Like you said, the informal sector employs more than the government can employ. We are 250 million people. Of that number, over 100 million are employable and can be employed, are of age to get employed. That is to say, they have one skill or the other. Then you ask yourself, what skill did they acquire? You are finding lawyers who are becoming broadcasters. You are finding political scientists who are becoming fashion designers. This is what an economy and a working population should look like. What value do you add to the system and what can you bring to bear? It is only at that level. A situation, somebody was, Patrice Lumumba was just talking about it in Ghana the other day. How you are constructing a road from Lagos to Calabar, and the people constructing the road are Chinese. And we have more than 15 universities of technology in Nigeria with professors of engineering, building engineers as graduates, as professors. But please go into this Abuja and see those constructing the roads. Those who are doing these roads are Chinese. Those who are doing these roads are not Nigerians. Where are the engineers? You find a mechanical engineer taking his vehicle to a roadside mechanic to repair, to fix. So what did you study? How are you putting it to use? So you just hold a paper and say, I have a master's degree in building engineering, and you are building nothing. Construction work is going on every day in one village, in one corner of this Abuja, in one community or the other. People are building their houses. Who are the people doing it? Artisans, never the educated people. And you are looking for employment where you should be employing. So, like you said, it is more out of the structural deformities that we have in the country that is bringing us to this point. I have made the point that nobody who studies mass communication should be looking for a TV station. Can't you use your hand? Can't you use your head? Can't you write? There's so much to do. What are you investigating? We're talking about this. How many undercover journalists have we seen? They can even bust a lot of crimes and a lot of these cells, these bandit cells across the country in northern Nigeria. How many do we have doing that? How many young journalists do we have doing that? How many young journalists do we have doing that? They must be employed. That is employment waiting for you. In this Abuja, for example, environmental activists, what are they doing about tree planting in Abuja? Just take that alone and say between here in the center of town to go to Kubwa, or just take the Kubwa settlement, take the airport road settlement, just planting of trees alone, you won't have enough people to plant trees, even as volunteers. And there are several international and national agencies ready to fund environmental activism. We don't get that. So all the time we are looking for how to be employed and pay the salary. And how much is the salary? Minimum wage 70,000. Where I come from, in Bokiland, in Cross River State, today, I have known 3 university lecturers who have abandoned teaching to go and plant, to go and deal with cocoa, to go and do farming. They no longer want to teach. One of them is from Federal University Lafia. 2 of them are from the University of Calabar. Others who just got employment did now still and say they won't want to be employed. They are back farming. And what is the reason? 50 kilograms of cocoa can pay 3 professors. 50 kilograms can pay 3 professors in Nigerian universities today. No Nigerian university professor earns 600,000. None. Air ticket from Abuja to Calabar to Lagos, none is less than 150,000. So if you even travel once in a month, that means you have no salary for that month. So you can then understand why this employment thing and white collar jobs and people looking for government jobs, as if government has the sole responsibility of employment and nothing more. All
right, now let's move away from that now, talking about our political space. With how diverse Nigeria is, with the number of local government, tribes, languages, culture, diverse views, do you see us shifting away from tribal, religious, cultural, regional politics to issue-based politics?
Nigeria has long moved from there. Those who keep talking about tribal politics are not being fair to us. We didn't believe after Abiola in 1993 that a Muslim ticker can sell in Nigeria. We didn't believe in the toxicity that it generated when a protege of Abiola himself, Amina Bola Tinubu, who was himself an offshoot of the Abiola political family, came out with it. People thought it was impossible to think about. Many people decamped from the party. Many people walked against the APC on account of that ticket. Look at the spread of votes, and you will find that politics and the politics of religion and tribe is only an instrument in the hands of the political class, never with the Nigerians. Let me give you the demographics of Nigeria and to show you how less diverse we are. Between Kano, through Adamawa, to Taraba, Nasarawa, to Benue, to Cross River, the Kwararafa kingdom is spread across there. And who are the Kwararafas? The Jukuns, the Kutebs, the Idomas, the Jarawas, the Angas, the Egons, down to the Ejagams of Cross River. They all are from products of the Kwararafa kingdom. But on a normal day, Once you stay in Calabar and hear that somebody is from Bauchi State, you are first taught that he's a Muslim and therefore he's an Hausa Fulani man. The quantum of Hausa and Fulani in the entire of Borno State, as large as it is, is not up to 5%. They're up to 5% of Fulanis in Borno State. They are all Kanuris. Southern Borno are not even Kanuris. Around the Biu area, they are not that. You get to Taraba. Taraba has over 32 sub-national, sub-ethnic groups, over 32 languages, but all of them linked. Dialects that are interpreted to mean languages. Dialects are different from languages. So you find that Nigerians are more unified in terms of ethnic demography. Who are you call them the Ikaibos of Delta State? From that Asaba down to Onitsha is how many kilometers? Less than 5 kilometers. And the whole of that area, the Ndokwas, all of them, the Ogwashukus, all those areas are Igbo speaking. But once you cross the river, somebody tells you are from Delta State, you are not from Anambra State. And there's a heavy quarrel about that. And that only comes when they are looking for votes. And I ask you, Kano State has a population that can sustain any business in the world. So why will a Kano State man like Dangote go to Lagos to go and build and nobody is challenging him? The Yorubas are sitting with him. The Igbos are working with him. Nobody has asked him, are you a Christian or Muslim? And they are working in Dangote refinery. Is it Fulanis that are working there? Is it Hausas that are working there? There are more Igbos and Yorubas in that refinery than the Hausa and Fulani boys. And show me 98% of every millionaire you know in northern Nigeria grew up in Lagos. Whether it is Bafarawa, whether it is Dangote, whether it is Dantata, all of them grew up in Lagos. Nobody remembers that they are Muslims, they are Hausas, they are Fulanis. So it is only when election comes, they weaponize religion, weaponize tribe, and make us, and in spite of that is why the return of our anthem is fantastic.
So who are the politicians?
I have told you the political class weaponize it.
All right.
It is only during elections that you remember the tribe. But when you are stealing oil in the Niger Delta, the people who are stealing oil there are not all from Niger Delta. The people who are going to do what do you call it? What we used to call subsidy, the round tripping they do with oil. So the people stealing money in the banks are not politicians. They are not. They are businessmen. Nobody talks about that. They don't remember that they are all from different tribes. They cooperate to steal. But when it comes to building the nation, we now remember tribes. So whenever you steal and you are caught, you go and invoke your religion and your tribe and say that because you are an Hausa man, that is why they are dealing with you. Because you are a Christian, that's why they are dealing with you. Whether you are in the army, whether you are in the Navy, whether you are in the political class, in the civil service, whether you are in the National Assembly, you hear people stand on the floor of the House, National Assembly members telling you that we in our area do not have enough this. Why is it? Is it because we are Igbos? Is it because we are Hausas? Is it because they come back and tell you why is JAM cutoff point different from this area? Haba.
All right. This is a conversation that would go on and on and on and on because it shows that a lot is playing out. But finally now, if an average Nigerian calls in on the show right now and ask you, why should I still believe in this system, given all that is playing out? What would your response be? That
Nigeria has happened to all of us, and Nigeria is so good. You need to stay outside Nigeria to know what Nigeria means. Somebody was challenging me in one of our platforms about the fact that I should say whether I have not gone out of this country for medical checkup. I have the capacity to go for medical checkup in any part of the world. And that has happened to me in the last 30 years. But I have never taken a drug, even Panadol, outside Nigeria. Never in my lifetime. And I have to be fact-checked. Why is it so? We go to school free in Nigeria. When you talk about Nigeria happening to you, we go to school free. I ask you, if $1 today is 1,600 at the average, that means $100 is 160,000. I don't know any Nigerian university, public university, that pays 200,000 naira school fees. I don't know any, even as a medical student. Tuition fee in Nigeria, no Nigerian university pays 200,000 as school fees. What that means, some pay as low as 64,000 today. Not yesterday, I can name the universities. That's my system. Some universities pay as low as highest 85,000. That is less than $100. Please, I want to know whether in Ghana, South Africa, UK, Australia, Switzerland, Canada, US, which university pays tuition fee of $100 in a year? None. So when you deal with the issue of purchasing power parity and people begin to scream Nigeria, you will discover that we are going to school almost, in fact, the people who today are imposing the fees went to school physically, practically free. It was free education. I met part of that system in which 45 naira, not 4,500 naira, 45 naira meal ticket, which you present and you eat a full chicken. And people sit back today and the same people are telling you that education cannot be free. Tuition fee is said to be free. In fact, the highest fee we ever paid was 19 naira for accommodation in a year.
All right, Honorable.
So we have a lot of things to hold for in Nigeria. Yeah. If I come in 10 generations, I will remain a Nigerian.
All right.
Nothing will make me leave this country. And I hate going out of it. If I am asked to go out today, each time I go out of Nigeria, I ask you, if it is more than 2 weeks, I won't go. All
right. Thank you very much, Honorable. We've actually run out of time. We wish, we had a longer time to continue this conversation because there's a whole lot to unpack. We do appreciate your presence. Thank you so much for creating our time out of your busy schedule to join us on Daybreak this morning.
Thanks for breaking me on Daybreak trust. I will trust you next time, but with more time.
All right. To our listeners out there, thank you so much for sticking around. We've come to the end of Daybreak this morning. Do well to have a beautiful weekend and a beautiful Salah celebrations ahead. My name is Lilian Ogazi.